All right, we're going to get started here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Capital One Orange Bowl Selection Day press conference. On the call today, you'll hear from our two head coaches, Dabo Swinney of number 7 Clemson and Josh Heupel of number 6 Tennessee. Before we get started, media are reminded to apply for credentials at orangebowl.org/pressbox and reserve hotel rooms at our media headquarters, the Le Meridien Dania Beach at Fort Lauderdale Airport. Room reservation links will be available after completing the application process. And again, all of this information can be found at orangebowl.org/pressbox. A recording of this press conference, along with an audio transcription, will be available on the CFP's media portal shortly following our conclusion here this evening. Let's go. Clemson will be the home team for this year's game as the ACC representative. They come in with a record of 11-2, champions of the Atlantic Coast Conference. This will be Clemson's 7th appearance in the Capital One Orange Bowl, owning a 4-2 record. Tennessee, the visiting team in this game, comes in with a record of 10-2, finishing second in the SEC East. The Vols are making their 5th appearance in the Capital One Orange Bowl and their first since 1998, and we're looking forward to having both teams here down in South Florida. This year's game will be played on Friday, December 30th at Hard Rock Stadium, televised by ESPN at 8 p.m. Eastern. And before we open it up to Josh Heupel, we're going to bring in Orange Bowl CEO Eric Palms for some brief remarks. Eric?
Thanks, Mike. First of all, we're incredibly excited about the historic matchup here in the 89th Capital One Orange Bowl between number 6 Tennessee and number 7 Clemson. It is the highest ranked non-playoff Capital One Orange Bowl matchup we've hosted in the CFP era, number 6 versus number 7, and one of the highest in recent memory. So a tremendous matchup. We have great partnership with these conferences, with the ACC, having their champion Clemson Tigers coming here. Fantastic season, 11-2. 7 times they've been in the Orange Bowl. And it's been 7 years, since they've been here in the Orange Bowl, and the 4th time in the last 12 years. So we're excited about that. Tennessee, what can you say? I think one of the great stories of college football this year. Excited to have a SEC to come back to South Florida for the 5th year in a row. It's been 25 years since we've had Tennessee down here in the Capital One Orange Bowl. And Coach Heupel has a very special place in our history, leading the Oklahoma Sooners in 2001 in the national championship game down here. There's tremendous demand for this game. We're excited about it. You can feel it here in South Florida, and we're going to paint this town orange on December 30th. So with that being said, I'll turn it back to you, Mike, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. We will now welcome in Tennessee's head coach, Josh Heupel, to say a few opening remarks, and then we will open it up for questions for Coach. Coach, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. So happy to have the opportunity to be here with you guys today. We are so excited and happy about the invitation to the Capital One Orange Bowl. I'm really proud of our program, the steps that we've taken in the last 2 years. Extremely proud of our staff and our players. This season was a really unique one, and so proud of the accomplishments that we had on the football field. It's truly a team that's connected, that competes extremely hard, and we're really proud of the steps that we're making and really excited to have the opportunity to compete in the Orange Bowl here later this month. I know, having played in it and coached in it 2 previous times, this bowl game is as good as it gets. It's a very unique and special opportunity for our football program, and one that we couldn't be more excited to partake in. I know that our fans, Vol Nation, are going to show up in droves. They're excited about this opportunity to compete, and what a prestigious game, and very honored to be a part of it.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach. We will now open it up for questions for Coach Heupel. To ask a question, click on the raise hand function on your Zoom screen. Once called upon, please unmute yourself, state your name and your affiliation before asking your question. We're going to go ahead and get started with Trevor Groves. Go ahead, Trevor.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this, and congratulations on a great season. Just curious how much you've been able to kind of follow Clemson from afar over the years, and how you perceive Coach Swinney's program, and if you've seen them at all this season, how you compare their defense to Alabama's defense.
Yeah, in recent years, obviously, have had an opportunity to see them, sporadically throughout the season, but see them. It's a tradition-rich program. They've had a ton of success, not just in past seasons, but in this season too. Obviously, finishing it out with an ACC championship. We have great respect for the quality of opponent. Coach Swinney has done a fantastic job with that program since he's taken over. Obviously, you look at what they've done defensively, year in and year out, one of the top in the country. Haven't had a chance to follow up and watch in detail just, the personnel or the scheme. Can't dive too much into that. Obviously, we'll do that here in the coming days and certainly over the next week. But offensively, they're historically a really good program too. And certainly, last night were very explosive and created a bunch of big plays. So great opponent, one that we're excited about having the opportunity to go compete with here at the end of the month.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, next we're going to go over to Najee Tobias. Go ahead, Najee.
Good afternoon, Coach Heupel. Can you hear me, sir?
I do have you.
Yes. So congratulations on making it to the Orange Bowl. And what I would like for you to do is talk to me about coming back to Florida, because you had a very successful stint at UCF, and now you'll be back in Florida. So you know a lot about our state, and you have Joe Milton, who's from Pahokee, Florida. So he'll be leading you against Clemson and South Florida. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, Joe's certainly going to be excited about having an opportunity to go play in an area that he's certainly familiar with, but so many friends and families and coaches and mentors have been a part of his life that we'll have an opportunity to come see him play in the football game. And certainly for me, have familiarity with the state of Florida, having been down there. A lot of our staff does as well. Having recruited down there, it's a place that we certainly know well, but not just through my experience down there as a coach, also just, having played in this bowl game as a player, having coached in it 2 previous times as a coach as well. This is a great week leading up to the kickoff. The bowl committee does an unbelievable job of taking care of the athletes and the staff. It's absolutely first class, and the football game itself is always one that is highly competitive and a special environment.
All right, let's go over to Adam Sparks. Again, please state your name and your affiliation, please. Adam Sparks, you there? You got to unmute yourself.
There, you got me, Josh?
I do.
Yeah. Adam Sparks, Knox News. Josh, what's the plan for kind of filling the gap of Alex Golish? How will you fill his shoes, and who's the accountable coach, I guess, that can recruit over this next month with Alex gone?
Yeah, certainly losing Alex is something that we're excited about. I think it speaks to the growth inside of our program. And when I say that, just that, the success that we're having on the field, the style of play, the culture that we have inside of our building, for him to have an opportunity to go run his own program is one that I am and our staff are excited for him to have that opportunity. And in the coming days, we'll understand how we want to fill that out on the recruiting trail, and then as we get into game preparation as well. But excited for him. And again, I think it speaks so well to what our players and our staff have done in a short amount of time here at Tennessee.
Let's go over to Jason Parker. Jason.
Hey, Coach, Jason Parker, NBC6 in Miami. So question for you. You obviously talked about your past experience in this game. You obviously won a national title here during the 2000 season when Oklahoma beat Florida State. Talk about how you're going to, what you're going to say to the players who may not have experienced this big bowl game atmosphere in a traditional game like the Orange Bowl. How are you going to tell them about what they're going to see here in Miami come December 30th?
Yeah, at the end of the day, the game is the most important thing. It's the most memorable thing of all the week of festivities. I think it's important that you enjoy the buildup and you enjoy the opportunity to see a new place, see a new culture, and enjoy the festivities of the week. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the game. And so when it's time to lock into your game preparation, your practice, you got to be completely invested in those moments. And at the end of the day, at the end of the week, man, you're going to get an opportunity to play in a very special game. This is an historic, iconic game. A lot of these guys have grown up in an era of watching the importance of this football game. I know that I grew up in that as well. And this is a special opportunity. You're going to have the entire country watching this football game when this is slotted here on TV. And it's a special opportunity, a special moment, and a memory that you'll have forever.
All right, next we're going to go over to Tim Reynolds. Tim.
Thank you. Hi, Josh. Tim Reynolds with the Associated Press here in Miami. Kind of along those lines, because you have coached in this game twice since you won that national championship in it. I'm just, is it only natural that you're gonna, I know it's gonna be about your team and this game, I get it, but is it only natural to have some pangs of nostalgia when you personally come back to this game, knowing just what it meant to cap your college career?
Yeah, there will be things that will spark memories from my 2 stints as a coach, being back in Miami, but certainly as a player too. Absolutely will bring back a lot of great memories, and really excited about having an opportunity to lead a program in this football game. This game is extremely special to me. A lot of great memories, and really looking forward to that opportunity. I already have teammates that will be able to come from or come to the ball game, guys that shared the field with me, and really looking forward to that opportunity.
All right, next we're going to go over to Corey Curtis. Go ahead, Corey.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. Corey Curtis at WKRN in Nashville. Obviously, there's a lot of kids that opt out of bowl games these days, with this being such a big, iconic game, and it's been a while for Tennessee. Do you expect most of your guys to be there?
Yeah, I certainly expect most of our guys to be there. There's guys that are still gaining information, and guys that were nicked up on the back half of the season that guys see where they get to here over the coming days, and make a smart, educated decision for them and their future. But this is a special football game. This is important to our program. It's important to our players inside of the locker room, especially. I certainly believe that we'll have a majority, if not a full roster, when we get down there for it.
All right, we got time for maybe 1-2 more questions. Let's go over to Matt Baker.
Hey, Josh, Matt Baker with the Tampa Bay Times. I wanted to follow up with the question about Alex a few minutes ago. You obviously know the American Athletic Conference and what it takes to succeed. Why do you think Alex could succeed at that level as a head coach at this moment?
Yeah, he's smart. He's competitive. Offensively, what he came in and learned while we were at UCF, and then as we transitioned up here to Tennessee, he's got a great ability to communicate and relate to student athletes, and is relentless as a recruiter. And there's no doubt in my mind he's going to do a great job of leading that program.
All right, and our last question here for Coach Heupel is for Dan Harrelson. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Coach. Speaking of your playing days, you were actually a Heisman finalist at that point too. Hendon Hooker may have a chance to kind of go through that same process. Has he leaned out to you any for that process, and maybe just from your experience going through that?
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't have control of that at this point. Hendon certainly deserves to be at that ceremony. He's certainly one of the best players in college football. The growth of our program is a direct correlation to what he's done, what he's invested, and how he's helped build the culture inside of our locker room. And a dynamic playmaker that has played his best in the biggest moments, fierce competitor that makes a ton of plays. And I certainly hope that he has that opportunity.
All right, thank you, Coach. That'll do it for Coach Heupel. We're gonna bring in Coach Dabo Swinney here in a moment. And Coach, appreciate you taking the time today for us.
Appreciate it, everybody. Have a great day.
All right, just give us 1 second and we'll bring in Coach Swinney here. Just be patient, please. All right, we are joined now by Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could start by opening up with a few opening remarks, and then we'll open it up for questions. Go ahead, Coach.
All right. Well, we are super excited to be heading back to the Orange Bowl. We've got a team that's excited. Really proud of our guys and how they finished the season. You know, to have the opportunity to play in this game is something that, you know, you really dream of. Especially here at Clemson, you know, we took 30 years to get back there when we got there in 11, and now to be able to get back there for the 4th time in 12 years. I'm thankful that this team is going to get that experience, and our staff, because it is an iconic, you know, bowl experience, and you know, one that I know everyone will enjoy being a part of. You know, Eric Palms and the entire Orange Bowl staff, they do an amazing job, as does everybody that's affiliated with this bowl. So, and then you throw in the fact that you get a chance to compete against a team like Tennessee that may you know, be the best team in the country this year. You know, they are one of those teams that certainly you know, can play with anybody, and they showed that all year. So it's a great matchup, and I know both teams, both fan bases will be super excited to see these teams compete on the field. But we're thankful for the opportunity, and again, really proud of our team for how they competed and to win this ACC championship and earn the right to get back to the Orange Bowl in New Year's 6. So, you know, with that, I'll take your questions along with just, you know, say congratulations to Coach Heupel and Tennessee for them earning the right to be here as well. The job that they, you know, did this year was amazing. Got a chance to see them quite a bit, and it'll be a great matchup.
All right, thank you, Coach. Now we're going to open it up for questions. Again, to ask a question, please raise your hand using the raise hand function on your Zoom screen. I'll call upon you. Please unmute yourself, state your name and your affiliation before asking your question. So we are going to start with Tim Reynolds. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you. Hi, Dabo. Congratulations. Tim Reynolds with the AP here in Miami. We all know the times we're in college football, and we're going to see obviously a lot of kids opting out from around the country from the bowl games and whatnot. What do you do to convince your kids that, I mean, you have always spoken very highly of this game. What do you do to convince your kids that the opportunity to play in a game like this doesn't come along every day, and that should sort of enter into their thinking too a little bit sometimes?
Well, I mean, we just, you know, it's an opportunity to play, first of all, and not only play, but again, to have an experience that is really special. It really is. I mean, again, I got to go to the Orange Bowl in 1999 when I was coaching at Alabama. In fact, it was Tom Brady's last game and at Michigan there. So that was a special. It was turning 2000. That was the old Y2K days. So that was an unbelievable experience for me as a young coach. And then obviously to get back a few times here at Clemson and to know those memories that have been built, you know, throughout our teams over the years. So, you know, you share those things and all that. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, I don't think you really should have to convince someone. At the end of the day, you know, if somebody doesn't want to play, you respect their decision and keep moving.
All right, next we're going to go over to Trevor Groves. Go ahead, Trevor.
Hey, Coach. Looks like you're on the plane on your way out to recruit, so thanks for doing this. But two-part question. I guess you got a head start on your preparation for Tennessee as you prepared for the Gamecocks. Just wondering what you were able to glean from watching the film on them. And also, your last meeting against Tennessee was in the 2003 Peach Bowl. Your first year on staff at Clemson. What do you remember about that night?
Well, I remember, first of all, it was a great finish to our season. We went from 5-4 to probably getting ready to be shown the door to 9-4, and Coach Bowden got Coach of the Year, and I got to I got to stay at Clemson longer than 10 months or whatever. So I remember that very well. It was a great finish to our season, the way we finished. And I remember Tennessee was a very good team, a very talented team. And but we were really playing our best ball there. Charlie Whitehurst was hot, the receivers, and Chad Jasmine, I think, was the MVP of that game. So it was just an electric atmosphere in the Peach Bowl there, and a fun way to finish the year. It was a big win for us. It was a huge win for sure, because Tennessee, I think, was a highly ranked team, maybe a top 10 team in that game. But it was special because, again, it was a good way to start off my first year there at Clemson, going on, I guess, 20 years ago now. So that's what I remember.
All right, next we're going to go over to Jason Parker. Go ahead, Jason.
Coach Jason Parker, NBC6 in Miami. Two-part question for you. Number one, you talked a little bit about your history, both at Alabama and Clemson, with playing in the Orange Bowl. Talk about what you're going to tell your players and those guys who haven't experienced this Orange Bowl about the history of this game and what it means to be able to be a part of this game. And the second part of the question, there was a time just a couple weeks ago when you guys looked like a possible playoff team. How do you respond to maybe some of the fans or some of the people who may not be as hyped up about coming to a non-playoff game?
Well, first of all, the history of the Orange Bowl is amazing. I mean, some of the greatest games ever in college football have taken place at the Orange Bowl, and it's a big time experience. It's a big time bowl. And then as far as all part of your question, I mean, both of these teams are playoff teams, caliber teams. There's 4 spots, and it's really, really hard to be in the Final Four. We're fortunate. We've been there a few times and have had some success there, but it's really hard. And you know what? You don't control that. Because technically, you could have the same record as someone else and someone not put you in there. So I think the biggest thing is if 11-2 and being your league champion and going to the Orange Bowl, if you're not happy with that, I don't really know what to say to you. It's really hard to win. And man, the players and the staff work extremely hard. There's not many teams out there that have 10+ wins. Tennessee and the season they've had, unbelievable. And then for our team as well. But both of these teams, even though we're not in the Final Four, we're both teams that certainly for 12 to 13 weeks were one of those few teams that had the opportunity. And, we both had opportunities to kind of play our way in there. We didn't get that done, but you got to give the opponent credit. And, and again, that's football. But both teams had an amazing season. And this will be an exciting opportunity to finish our year again with a playoff caliber game. That's what this is. And next year's one more year of the Final Four, and then it's going to 12. So I think this is a great experience for our team, the staff, both teams, and then also for our fans. It's Miami. It's the Orange Bowl. You're playing Tennessee. I think it's anytime you get a chance, if you're a fan of your team, and anytime you get a chance to see them play, to me, it ought to be exciting. We only get, at most, if the whole world goes perfect, we get 15 games, right? 15 days to play this game or to be a fan of your team on the field that day. And, we're fortunate we're going to have 14. And so I'm thankful we got one more game to play. hopefully we'll have a great crowd. I don't doubt that we will, and a great environment. Two regional fan bases that I'm sure will passionately support each team.
All right, next we're going to go over to Dan Harrelson. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned two previous games there, 2003, or I guess it may have been the 04 in January against Tennessee in the Peach Bowl. Did you have any input on the fumble Ruski? And then going back to the 2000 Orange Bowl, Andrew Zhao was your quarterback, obviously, with your program for his second year. How special is it to have him part of your program now?
Yeah, I believe that was Brad Scott there who was our offensive coordinator, and yeah, we had that little play. I think it was Kyle Browning, little number 28, that we handed that ball to, and everybody kind of comes out, you put it under his legs and run out, and he goes out the back door. That was a great play in that game, and I know we hit the trap a couple times with Chad Jasmine. He had a heck of a game, and Derek Hamilton and some of those guys, receivers. Kevin Youngblood had a nice game. The head coach at Virginia now, Tony Elliott, was playing in that game. So there was a lot of great moments for sure. And yeah, I was talking about that with Andrew Zhao the other day. You just when you're in the moment of things, you don't really know. And I just remember that game, and we have the lead, and there's like a minute something left, and there's this long, gangly guy out there at quarterback for Michigan, and you think, well, pretty good shape here, and all of a sudden this guy Tom Brady takes right down the field, ties it up, and we go to overtime, and we missed the extra point in overtime. That's how we lost that game. So I won't ever forget that either. But and then you go on about your business, and next thing you know, 60 years later, Tom Brady is still doing that and making a living doing it.
All right, we got time for one or two more questions. Let's go over to Mitchell Summers. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Hey, Coach Swinney, this is Mitchell Summers with Fox Carolina. So what do you expect to see out of Cade Klubnik in a top 7 matchup in the Orange Bowl in his first career start at quarterback?
Well, hopefully just, first of all, great preparation like he's been having, but then just, playing within the system and, just being smart with the ball and just, doing what he's coached to do. And I thought he did an amazing job of that last night. And, so really just hopefully pick up where he left off. But he was accurate, made good decisions outside of maybe one or two in the run game. He extended some plays, did some things with his legs. So just continue to, again, play within the system, bring that great energy and protect the football.
All right, our last question for Coach is from Trevor Groves. Go ahead, Trevor.
Hey, Coach, just curious what you saw from Tennessee in preparing for the Gamecocks. Obviously, Hendon Hooker, went out in that game, unfortunately, but just your impressions of their offense, defense, and schematically. Yeah, well, not just the Gamecocks. I mean, I got to see them several times this year, and I mean, they're unbelievable. I haven't obviously, got into, really breaking them down and game planning, but I would imagine that they got to lead the country in scoring or offense. I can't imagine they don't. I mean, as explosive an offense as I've seen in a long, long time. Unbelievable tempo, incredibly fast, receivers making plays. I mean, this is a team that you can tell just has fun playing. You can tell that they're very connected, that, Coach Heupel and his staff, they've done an unbelievable job of building, this culture and really putting it together right out of the gate. It's not easy to do. And, and I know they missed some plays against South Carolina, and South Carolina hit some amazing plays. And, but man, they bounced right back the very next week, got back on track, and, shut out Vanderbilt, scored 1 million points and a bunch of yards. So, there'll be a handful for sure. I'm glad we don't play them this week. Hopefully we can find a way to make them punt a couple times because they don't punt very often.
All right, thank you, Coach. That's going to do it for our press conference today. Appreciate your time, Coach, and we look forward to seeing you down in South Florida.
All right, thank y'all. It's an honor to be there. Congratulations to Tennessee again. Look forward to spending a great week with you guys in Miami. Go Tigers.
Thanks, Coach. Quick reminder to all media, credential applications are due next Friday, December 14th. Hotel reservations and credentials can be reserved at orangebowl.org/pressbox. The video and audio transcription of today's presser will be available on the CFP media portal here shortly. Thank you all. Have a great evening, and we will see you soon at the 89th Capital One Orange Bowl.